All right, IG, what's happening? What's up? Good to have you here. Today's the day. It's time. The 10X Exit Summit webinar training. This is where you're going to get information on how you can exit. Like, this guy would not be the guy that he is today. You probably wouldn't even know him if he wasn't able to exit a number of times. If you haven't signed up for this free training, make sure that you go to grantcardone.com/exit, grantcardone.com/exit. We're doing a training today on how you can either exit your company for way more than you ever thought possible, on how you can exit your role so it allows you to free up your time so that you can go maybe spend more time with your family or more recreation, or maybe you just want to exit your role so that you can go add another new thing like this guy's done a number of times over his career. So LinkedIn's coming on live as well. We're doing this training today. We always promise 60 minutes, almost always go over because Grant over delivers, and he's going to be joined today by our business partner, Brandon Dawson, who is basically made his career helping people exit their companies and exit their roles and scale beyond their wildest dreams. We got people on Zoom here. I got David Baines. I got, let's see here, Sherman, I see you, Andy, Deborah, George Costanzo, Jeff and Karina, John, Tom, Alston, good to see you. Parnell, Quinn. Can they hear me? Or no?
These guys in here? No.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm shouting them out anyway. So what's up? Everybody on IG Zoom, if you have not, everybody on IG and LinkedIn, if you have not enrolled for the training yet, I can't promise how long we're going to keep it up on here. But if you go to grantcardone.com/exit, you can reserve your spot immediately.
When you go there.
When you go there. And you will get instant access to the entire free training that we're going to be doing today on how to exit. Some people don't even know what exit means. I'll be straight with you. Exit means replacing yourself. Either replacing yourself with a new operator, a new owner, or replacing yourself in the business so that you can have more time to do other things. A lot of people spend their entire careers trying to figure this out, and most attempt too late to figure out how to do this thing the right way. So if you own a small business right now, this is going to be the most valuable training probably in your entire career.
I always say this for you guys on Instagram. Is that Instagram?
Yeah,
right here?
Instagram.
So I always say to you guys, like in real estate, you need to know how you're going to exit the real estate when you buy the real estate. Also in business, you need to know how you're going to exit business. That business doesn't mean you sell the business and walk away, by the way. It means you exit the business. It means somebody else runs that business and you still get paid on it, either one time, many times, or one time and many times. Also, this relates to an individual in a position, right? Do you want to be the waitress forever? Should be an exit from the waitress role. Then you own the restaurant. Should be an exit for the restaurant owner. At some point, you'd want to exit, not be the owner of the restaurant. At some point, I've owned a restaurant for 80 years. That is never a good ending to that story, okay? So typically the restaurant owner, somewhere around the 8 or 10 year mark, should be thinking about how to maybe run a bunch of restaurants, not one restaurant. And or at some point, get real power and from a distance, from a yacht somewhere, run a conglomerate of restaurants via sat phone. So today what I'm going to show you is how to start setting up exits. I'm going to bring Brandon in. The guy's a genius on this topic. He's helping me actually make another big exit that you will be seeing in real time. I'll talk about it today, and you're going to see this thing play out over time, and you're going to be like, dang, man, on June 26th, Nostradamus, Grant Cardone, told us what would happen in the future. He didn't know it, but he did it, okay? Hey, welcome to 10X Exit. Grant Cardone here. Appreciate you joining us today. And I'm really excited about this particular topic because for so long, people have asked me, hey, what is probably one of the biggest questions I get is, how do you get so much done? Like, how do you get the time, what is it called, work-life balance thing? I don't even think about it. How do you get the work-life balance thing? How do you find time for your kids? How do you stay in such great shape? How do you go to 19 countries and your business continues to grow? How do you go do Undercover Billionaire for 90 days, a TV show? I literally lose my name for 90 days. Can you lose your name for 90 days and your business keep going? How do I have a business that many of you don't even know about that's been around for 25 years and it's still running? It's still out there pushing my name. How do I run 189 employees, 350 in the real estate, do the philanthropy I do, and still find time on a Saturday to do a webinar and a clubhouse all morning, rehab a house, and be engaged in real estate deals? Like, how do you do that? One word. Exits. Okay? Exits. In my case, it's multiple exits. If you want health, family, if you want to be involved in other endeavors, if you want to be highly motivated in life, folks, you cannot do the same task or same role over and over and over and over again, because at some point, let's face it, no matter how good you are at that job, you're going to age out of that job. Technology will pass you up, and or the worst case is you're going to get bored. You're simply going to get spiritually flat on doing that same activity over and over, right? You're not meant to do the same activity forever, over and over, even though you probably could. Yes, you could, but why if you could actually spiritually start stretching yourself into other things? Now, many of you want to do that. Maybe you throw it in the chat. Do you want to do more things? Do you want to have time for other hobbies? Would you like to go spend 3 months in Croatia on a yacht?
Yep.
See, I got to tell you that it's so sad for me how many people that I know, how many people maybe that know me, that you're here right now today to learn this, that if I called you and said, hey, let's go to
Marbella.
Let's go to Marbella for a month. Let's go to Cabo in October for a month. Let's go to Greece in September. How many of you don't have the time? You have the money. You could maybe put it on a credit card and go spend a month there, but you actually couldn't leave your business. It would cost you so much to leave your position or your business. Why? Because you haven't figured out how to exit. Okay? So I want to tell a story. I've never ever told this story before. Most people do not actually know the backstory of Grant Cardone. But most of you would not, even though you've maybe heard some podcasts and me talking in front of you, but I've never ever told this story. Had I not done what most people have not seen me done, because I haven't talked about it, over the last 25 years, most of you would not even know me today. I was literally talking about this morning. I'm like, Ginger would not know me. David Baines would not know me. Brandon and Natalie would not know me. My wife and my kids, by the way. Sabrina and Scarlett probably would not know me had I not learned how to exit positions. So when I talk about exit, first of all, I looked up the definition this morning. Definitions are really important, okay? And exit in the dictionary means a departure from a situation. Okay? It could also mean I'm leaving the restaurant, okay, or I'm leaving the relationship. But there's another definition, and it says a departure from a situation. Comes from the word it, by the way. And I'm departing a situation. So if you then look up the word situation, I mean, there's a lot of definitions of situation. A way in which something is placed in relation to its surroundings, a locality, a state of health, a position or place of employment. That's a situation. But there's another definition that I want you to think about. Okay, and this is the situation that you will find yourself in at some point in the future if you don't plan your exits. This is the definition you must understand. I was on a plane from Chicago to Denver, and the flight attendant comes to me, Mr. Cardone, can you please move to the back of the plane? We have a situation. I'm like, situation? That's not what you want to hear at 41,000 feet. Okay, that definition is this. A critical, trying, or unusual state. A situation is a scene you really don't want to be in. Now, if you're a business owner, okay? If you're a business owner, for instance, my first gig was a sales gig. Okay, I was making, I think I made $98,000 one year as a salesperson. I was there 12 and 14 hours a day. Every single day. I wasn't looking for an exit. The owner of the company gave me one. Okay, he literally fired me. That's a forced exit. How many of you here have been fired before? It was a forced exit. Now, by the way, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life was having this forced exit. It was the 8th time I had been fired from a job, and I had to go then find another gig. I went and found another gig, and the next gig paid me $130,000 a year. I was fascinated with this thing. I was a speaker. I was paid to be a speaker and a consultant and a sales guy. I was really a sales guy. Out on the road, I was spending 300 days. 1 year, I spent 236 days on the road without returning home. Literally, almost an entire year, I was gone. Never went back to my home. I lived with my mother. I had a bed at my mom's house because I was living in Chicago, Toronto, Winnipeg, Saskatoon. Like, it was a crazy life, and I was having a blast. I was 30 years old. I was having a blast. Man, you know what I was doing. I was crazy. Picking up money and spending nothing. And it was phenomenal until it became a critical, trying, or unusual state. My health started to deteriorate. I'm 30 years old. I'm in better shape today than I was 33 years ago. My health started to deteriorate. I was never home. My mental health, okay, I was depressed. I was angry. I was lonely. And even though this job was doing great, and at one moment, just a few months before that, about 17 months before that, I was digging it. Boom, I hit this thing that is described on the internet as burnout. And it wasn't burnout. It was a critical, trying, or unusual state, and I was in trouble. So I had to re-look at my life, maybe like you are today. By the way, some of you that want to spend more time than just this hour, we're going to do a 4-week video course, 4 live mentor calls on this concept of exit that we're going to hopefully hook you on today. To make a commitment to learn how to do this, not just hear this, but to do something about it. I spent 4 weeks, that's how we came up with this period of time. I spent 4 weeks between this last job and my next creation so that I could like decompress, sit back and say, how am I going to move out of this scene to my next scene, okay? So we put together 4 weeks. It's grantcardone.com/value. Is it value? grantcardone.com/value. 4-week video course created just for you for this topic. 4 live mentor calls over those 4 weeks, and we end it with a 1-day exit summit where we're going to show you how to put it all together, answer your questions live in person. If you want to come to Miami, it's right before our boot camp. Or we can Zoom it to you if you can't travel from Singapore.
The live is only reserved for the first 100 people who take advantage of this.
Okay, so we're going to give you the live. We're going to give you the live. It's the day before our business boot camp. We'll give it to the first 100 people that transact. I don't want to go into more of that. Those of you who trust me, like me, love us, and you already got it. Dude, look, if you want to exit, why do you exit something? Number one reason you exit is for your physical health. Second is for your spirit. Okay? The spirit wants to play games. It does not want to play the same game and win at the same game over and over. I can play Monopoly, win every game. Sooner or later, we throw the board away, and I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't want to be the winner every time. I don't want to be like, this is no fun. I need a bigger game. The spirit wants to expand. It wants to get big and do and play and do new things. It actually even wants to lose sometimes. Okay, I want to be able to play something that's new. How many of you want to do new things, new hobbies, new possibilities, new friends, travel new places, discover new things? That's the spiritual part of you. Even the atheist would say, yes, dude, I want to play new games, okay? The agnostic. Maybe you don't have a God. You still want to play games, right? And so why do you want to scale something? It's not always about the money. It's not always about the fame. It's about I want to explode. I want to have fun in life, okay? I want to do it for my family. If I don't scale, how can I possibly be a father? If I am enamored with this situation, the manager, I'm managing a team and I want my team to do better. Or I'm constantly hiring people, same problem over and over. I'm the hiring person. I just cannot get the right people. So I keep getting sucked down into this situation and I can't become an entrepreneur because I'm a manager. How can I go from manager to entrepreneur to business owner to investor? How can I possibly find time to go buy real estate? Look at the things I've done this week. This week I've attended this, been a father, planned a birthday party for my wife, bought gifts for my wife, did a birthday thing for her yesterday, one tonight, spent time with my kids,
Real estate deals.
Working at my house today, at our new house to do some rehab stuff.
Sales execution workshop.
I did a sales execution workshop this week. Lost 2 real estate deals, $500 million worth of real estate deals.
3 other events this week.
That didn't devastate me. Did 3 other events this same week. Probably 6 clubhouses. Who knows how many posts on Instagram and Facebook. And, got my workout in. Shopped a Gulfstream 650 this week. Played backgammon with Brandon and Gary Brecka. Picked up about 160 grand from those 2 dum-dums.
In-person coaching.
And in-person, 2 in-person coachings with people from, like, a fascinating lady that I met this week in one of our private coachings that might be an opportunity to build literally $1 billion business with one lady. How do you do that? You have to exit, okay? So what I did was, again, 30 years old. This is me at 30, okay? This is me as a speaker between 31 and 35. My second business at 35 years old was with a partner. That deal's been around 27 years. The last 2 years it has not paid me monthly income. 25 years in a row it paid me monthly income. It will again kick up again. He's had some troubles in his business. But even when that business didn't pay me, it also hasn't cost me any attention. He's running it. He's using and pushing my name into the marketplace. He's had some struggles, okay? At 36 years old, because of that partnership, I exited this. I didn't even do this deal. I've gotten cash flow from this partnership exit, okay? Still have my first business, added the second business, boom, third business, real estate. That started as a hobby on the weekends, okay? I had a company promoting my events. I had another partner in Orlando, Florida, building a consulting company. I had exited those 2 roles, started buying real estate, and I'm just kind of tinkering on these. Now again, this is the first 3 gigs. That morphs into me then moving from being on the road buying real estate. This will become a $2.5 billion business. Had no idea that it would be that big. This will end up going to probably $40 billion. Okay, that's the goal. And we'll probably go to the stock market over the next 3 to 5 years, and we'll probably become a publicly traded company at some point. I brought Brandon in to help me with that transition. But you're going to see that what we've done over the years, at 36 years old, I was still doing probably 4 gigs. I was probably still doing, at this time, I had to be doing 6 times 12, 72 gigs a year. Okay? What I mean is I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I'm doing 6 live speaking gigs, maybe 8 gigs a month actually, probably 96 gigs a year, where literally I'm leaving my house on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it was 8 gigs a month. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm still single, no kids, 4 days a week. Monday I leave, Friday night I come home to Los Angeles. Monday I leave, Friday I come home. I'm like a road warrior, man, just like 3 million miles. I did that for 9 years, between 36 and 45 years old, burnout again. Nope, my health is deteriorating. I have no personal life. I have no friends. I have many girlfriends in every port. I'm freaking sick of the life, empty inside. My health is not good. I'm not expanding. I'm sick of the game. I'm basically a guy standing in front of a room saying the same thing over and over and over again. I'm like a paid monkey. I was a well-paid monkey, but the problem was spiritually I was not being paid. No chance of family, no chance of kids, no chance of a real relationship, no chance of any spiritual development. Same gig over and over. How many of you can relate to this? Same thing over and over.
Well,
and how do I get off this, dude? This is what do they call this? They call this the
hamster wheel.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And I could feel it. Okay, I was in the grind. I was in the machinery, man, and I couldn't get off. And I'm like, okay, I got to exit this situation. How do I do that? Oh, I need products. I can't just keep talking. So we started building products out. And then I became, when you build products out, the problem with that, we started building our product lineup out. I didn't know how to do any of this. You know, I'm one of those hard-headed, stupid people, but I don't quit. Okay, I'm one of those hard-headed people that's just like, I'm just going to keep pushing, right? So I do the product thing, and then I basically go backwards and become a sales guy again. So I go from speaker, like I made so many mistakes, except I didn't quit. I made so many mistakes though, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the speaker. Like if any of you that saw me 30 years ago doing audiences, people would be like, they were amazed, because when we went to break, I'd run from the front of the room all the way to the back table. Hey, come over here. I'd go from speaker, professional speaker, to hey, come over here and get your thing. Hey, credit cards. Like I'm back there pumping people. Looking back, it was so ridiculous because I actually demythed the persona of this guy at the front of the room. And I basically, even as cool as it was that I was willing to become both people and be willing to do both things, and that's cool, it's really not what your audience wants, okay? The audience says they want access to all of you, but they also need you to hold yourself up as the person that is the professional that sends somebody back to the room, okay? Because I hadn't planned my exit, right? Now, I had a lot of the problems, the same situations, critical, trying, or unusual states and limited beliefs that you might have. Can't find good people, partnerships are bad, don't depend on other people. Folks, I had 3 employees back then, okay? I was making $3 or $4 million a year, and I was miserable. And you're like, 3 or 4 million, I'd love to make 3 or 4 million. The guy I'm gonna bring up today had a business doing half of what I was making. And he sold his company for $150 million. So I started getting my attention there. That starts getting my attention. Now, your exit may not be selling the company. There's a lot of ways to do this where you don't have to sell. You just exit and keep. Okay, that's the ideal situation. I always talk about the exit, no exit. Mm-hmm. How do I get rid of a situation, a limitation, and let somebody else handle it? You go cook the food, or hey, you go clean the dishes. I just want to eat the meal. I just really want to do the dessert part. Chocolates, please, and a cappuccino, okay? And have the fun part. Let's do a cigar. So that situation, that ideal situation, remember, your situation, and you guys should write down, what is your situation today? What situation do you want an exit from, okay? What is this critical situation or limitation that you're in right now that you want to exit from? What is it in your life that keeps repeatedly showing up, the same problem over and over and over again? The job, the critical, unusual state that you're in that limits you from the spiritual play that you want to be involved in. Creativity, okay? What is it? How many different things can you write? Is it money? Is it people? Is it partnerships? Is it time? How many of you got a time problem? Like you cannot get to the next thing because you're like, if I go to the next thing, I lose this thing. What are those situations? Those are departures. These are departures from the ideal, okay? The proper exits, because this is the target, right? The target is the ideal life. Hey, I got time to be a parent. I got time to be a spouse. I got time to be a son. I got time to be a brother. I got time for my health. I got time for Croatia. I got time for and money for the yacht, the plane, the life. And when I go there, I'm not being beat up by the worries of the event, okay? Today, we're doing 34,000 person events. I don't worry about doing, they're going to be fine. Like, I'm not sweating it. I'm able to go out and buy the real estate. I'm able to endeavor into other ventures. Investigate, study other ventures and possibility. I'm able to be involved in philanthropy. And today what we do is we have everything kind of going together with 190 employees here. How many do you have, Brandon?
60.
60 with a partner. I don't take care of those 60 people. I don't even know who those people are. Do you understand? I got 189 employees here. I hired none of them. None of them. Brandon picked up 60. Okay, that's people, man. People is everything. We have 10 million people online supporting me. How many licensees do we have around the world?
273.
270 licensees around the world. 5,000 investors alongside me, okay? Okay, so I got 189 employees. Scott Morgan's probably got 6 or 8 over there. Brandon's got 60 employees. The real estate has another 350 employees. Are all these good people? I don't know. Probably not.
Incubator has 40.
We just started another company. 40 employees taken care of by another person. You'll be hearing about this announcement quite soon, okay? Another company that we're buying. We have a deal with AMI. How many employees does AMI have?
They've got 50, 60.
50 or 60 plus what? How many locations?
500 locations. Got to be, a couple thousand people.
There's a couple thousand people there. No money, none of my money. It's about extending and exits. Okay, what do I mean by that? It's not like how do I leave? How do I go there and not leave here? Okay, it is possible, by the way. I could stay here and extend power to partners, right? So that's what I've done with Brandon. I did not hire these 60 people. That's a big lift for me. That's a 30% lift in people without any attention. True definition of power. Can I move something at a distance? Can I move that? Limited power. Can I move that across the room? Oh, more power. Could I move something in Sydney, Australia? Even more power. And that is what an exit is. It allows you the time, the money, the freedom, the creativity, and the people to extend yourself beyond a critical, trying, or unusual state or situation. Okay? So today, I just want to lastly say this before I bring Brandon up, because I brought Brandon here to help me with the next exit. Okay? Brandon had a company doing about $1.9 million a year, and that company was sold for $150 million. Is that right, Brandon?
Yeah, $2 million of profit. Yeah.
Okay, well, $1.9 million of profit. Okay, so this is what's referred to as EBITDA. Okay, EBITDA. Okay, so this is the profit. Now my companies this year will probably net after I freaking bang it with helicopters and planes and all kind of bullshit. I don't know, $40 million. So, what is that worth? That's just our companies that do events, books, audio programs, trainings. Cardone University. Cardone University's got contracts until 2026, maybe past 2026. Accounts receivables that we can cash in on, right? That have value into the future. So he did 77 times his net profit number. So I don't know what that number is. It's massive, but we're going to stack that. It's not going to be 40 million. We're going to bring $400 million to the marketplace and then exit that. And that's where you guys come in, okay? And that's why we put together weekends like this. That's why I'm here today to share this with you. I can get to that number faster with you and your help if you learn how to exit your position, your limited job and your problems, the manager position, the owner position, the accounting position. Like, you can't do everything, folks. I keep saying this to you. You can do anything as long as you don't try to do everything. Because the moment I try to do everything, I can then do nothing great. So you cannot be this master of all things. You're not the master of all things. You're a jack or a jackette or Jackie, okay? Because you can't do everything and be great at much. So when you exit that position, nobody's going to do it as well as you, by the way, if you're great at it. Nobody. But if I could get 10 people, to be half as good as me, I get 5x. If I could find 10 people that are half as good as me, I just 5x myself. And that is the goal of an exit. The goal of an exit is not to leave. The goal of the exit is to replace you with power, with 5x or 10x the power. If I could find 20 people that are half as good as me, then I'm at 10x. If I could find on this call today 10 people that could do half of what I'm doing, I would blow up the multiple of our company so that when we go do our big exit to somebody, to a whale, my favorite animal.
Shamu.
Okay, the big killer whale or the big humpback. They open their mouths. If you've ever seen them eat, man, they just move through the water and they just consume krill. So what I want to do is I want to put us together. You have to learn how to exit your role, though. You are no benefit to yourself, your family, your health, your church, your community, or me If you cannot learn how to exit the critical condition that you're in right now, okay, that's not about COVID or the economy, it's about your limitation. So that's why we put this event together. You can grab it at grantcardone.com/value. grantcardone.com/value. We call it value because then you add value to yourself and your family, and you need to know how to put yourself in a situation. I always say this, you bragging or complaining. When you tell me how hard you're working, you bragging or complaining. I work 100 hours a week. 100 hours a week, Grant, man. I'm the hardest working person I know, okay? All right, well, that's good. But are you bragging or complaining? Because I don't work 100 hours a week. This is what I work a week. 189 plus 60 plus 350
40.
times 40.
No, that's times 60, bud.
Why?
Because you're only counting what you make.
Oh no, I did your guys, I did my real estate guys. I'm working 2,396 hours a week.
Yeah.
So divide by 40. I'm working. Yeah. Anyway, you get the point, right? Like you're not limited to 40 hours. Oh, we all have so much time. Multiply times others. Okay, it's a multiplier. 10x is about a multiplier. And then a 10x that, okay? And you can't do that if you don't exit your current situation. And that starts right here with information. So I want to introduce you. Go ahead.
I just want to, just real quick, I want to shout out a bunch of people took advantage of this offer. They're trying to get that live seat. Just a few. Mike, Alex, AJ, Matt, David, Miriam, Noel, Sandra, Terry, Jake, Greg, Mike, Jeff, Troy. Congratulations, everybody, on hooking up. There's a bunch more, but rather than sit here all day and read names.
Yeah. So guys, what you get for $997, this is a $20,000 offer, by the way. Okay, we're doing this. This is my audience. You guys love me. You support me. I know you're committed to your family. I know you're committed to your future. That's why you're here today, to be here. I cannot tell you, okay, enough times and with enough empathy, with enough humility. One, I thank you for being here. I would not know you had I not stumbled across or be driven with no real understanding of how to do it, but I figured out how to exit because I didn't quit. You don't need to learn it the way I did. I'm 63 years old. You need to learn this at 25. You should know this. This is what they should teach you in college. The goal is not to get a job, dude. The goal is to exit the job you have. The goal is not to start a business. The goal is to exit the business you have. Okay, the goal is to walk in with something. Okay, the goal is not to pick up 10 pounds. The goal is to get in great shape, right? It's the end result. And I just implore you guys to look for the ideal scene. What is the ideal scene for your life? The ideal scene has got to include some travel, right? It's got to include some time with your family. It's got to include enough money so that you can actually give back to your community and make a difference. The exit, the ideal scene's got to be some leadership capacity in some example that you set for others that inspires others to do big things. Like you should be able to lift people up with you because of what you did. That should be the exit, not just a bag of money. But a bag of money, a big bag of money should be part of the game. And it shouldn't just be one big score. The ideal scene would be I get a score and boom, I still get drips. Like I'm literally I met a man, I'm going to finish with this. I was in Capri traveling. That's why travel is so important, because when you travel, you expand yourself. You literally physically left your zip code and went into another zip code, area code, country, possibility. And when you do that, you're like, oh my God, America's not the only game in town. There's a lot of games. America's not the only place in the world where there's dreams. Everybody's got dreams. I'm in Capri, a little island outside of the south coast, just south of Rome, the Amalfi Coast. Freaking gorgeous. Best cappuccinos in the world, okay? And everything, it tastes better there. Everything is better there. Everything's more colorful. The people are more beautiful. I was more beautiful. Elena and I were there, and I'm at the pool, and there's this rich dude. I can tell he's rich because he's big, you know? He's big. You can tell he's been eating a lot of good food and drinking a lot of good wine. Big dude, and he's from Russia. And I said, hey, and he's got a big, I didn't have any watches. This is 15 years ago. And he had a big What's the watch with the big wheels on the outside? The
Panerai.
Panerai. You got a Panerai on right now.
Yeah.
Big smacking Panerai, man. The watch was probably $12,000-$15,000. But I was impressed, okay? And I said, excuse me, sir, what do you do for a living? And he said, he rolls over, the big whale that he is. And he says, I own all the parking meters in the Eastern Soviet bloc. I said, excuse me? I own every parking meter in the Eastern Soviet bloc. I'm like, I don't know what the Eastern Soviet bloc even means. I just heard this. Every parking meter. He gave me that one piece of data, man. It was like he dropped a quarter in my parking meter, and I'm telling you, it opened me up to, oh my God, I have to learn how to own things that get money when I'm on a vacation. And that is what we want to teach you today. So I want to bring you up. I want to bring Brandon Dawson up. Brandon, by the way, Brandon found me, but I was actually looking for Brandon. He doesn't know this, okay? I've been putting on my bucket list, man. I need to find a guy that can help me freaking multiply and explode. And 10X, the book 10X was to attract all of you here and to attract Brandon here. Our big conferences are to attract super cool people that are willing to pay, because we know they pay attention once they pay. To get around people that are big thinkers. That's why we do all these events all the time, to get around people that want to think big and do big things. And so I did that big event in Miami, 34,000 people, literally to attract a handful of people. Not to attract 34,000 people, but to attract the right people. And I knew how to do something big to attract big thinkers. So Brandon comes into the room. He comes, pursues me. He thinks he's pursuing me. He don't know, man. I was reeling him in the whole time. The whole event was to reel a big whale in. And so one deal can change your life. One deal scripted the right way can change every situation you have in your life. I brought Brandon here to help me scale my business to the billions. Screw these millions we dealing with. Let's go hit some B money. Let's go put some B's on the board, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring my friend, my partner, and a genius at scaling, Brandon Dawson. Brandon, take it over, bro. Take it over.
All right. Hey, I'm excited to be here with all of you future exiters. Let's talk about, you know, it's funny, Grant told you the story about the Russian oligarch who was sitting there. I have the exact same story, and it dawned on me that for many of you, the story that might actually change your life was Grant's and my story. I'm going to tell you right now. I was with my mother, and a gentleman came down to take her to dinner. I was 16 years old. He pulled up in his two-door Rolls Royce, and he got out with the top down. And my mother said to him, I'm not getting in that car with you because I had spent 2 hours on my hair. He said, I'll be right back. He left, and he came back 15 minutes later in a big-ass four-door Rolls Royce. I looked at my best friend and I said, what does it take to not have one Rolls Royce, but two? So I asked him, I said, how did you make your money? He said, every single reflector that you see on a highway or on a road, I get a penny for it.
Wow.
He invented the reflectors that go on roads. Think about that. I had that same thought Grant just said. What does a guy have to do in order to never have to work because someone pays you every single day for something that they created? And I've equally been on a pursuit my whole life to find a way to exit my roles and responsibilities. And a lot like Grant talked about, I exited college in my first year. My parents wanted me to go, and I decided I didn't want to go to college. It wasn't for me. I exited the town I was in, Portland, Oregon, to go do something unique and go do something where I could be on my own. And I moved to the Southeast and traveled North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, company car, company credit card, hotel every single night, calling on device doctors to sell hearing aids. And eventually I exited that and moved to Minnesota, where I built a sales team. 26 years old, making $150,000 a year with a newborn and a 2.5-year-old. And I quit. I exited that to go start my first business. You see, if you don't exit where you're at, you can't open the door to where you want to go. And so a lot of people think the term exit, and Grant defined it so well, a lot of people think the term exit is to leave. But you know what? If you don't leave your roles, your responsibilities, your duties, you can't exit to the next phase, the next opportunity, the next thing in life. And so when Grant and I were sitting around talking about these different people that we've met and these different things we've been able to do to exit to the next level of success, he said, hey, we need to share this. We need to create value for other people and explain this. Just like the reflector, the gentleman that invented reflectors, or the Russian oligarch that had the meters. That imprinted on Grant and I. There has to be a different way of thinking. There has to be a different way of doing. There has to be a bigger, better way to create a more massive result. And I've been committed to this my whole life, and as has Grant. We have very similar stories. But the reason that I sought Grant out is because I was still thinking too small. Although I had a great exit from my business, I didn't have the exit I was looking for. Because I know that I have more talent than I had knowledge on how to create a massive exit. And I needed a business partner. So like Grant says, collaboration for a lot of you may be your exit. Collaborating with a key employee, collaborating with a competitor, collaborating with Grant and I, collaborating with a friend. Might just be the very exit you need to change your life forever. Let me walk you through, and I know that when Grant said we got to create a program, we got to create a program that shows people how to exit so they can enter. And so I spent some time in the studio and created a 30 video series program that we're going to be doing a mentorship on over 4 weeks with Grant, myself, special guest that I'm bringing into the equation who's an expert on exiting and how to create value. And Grant walked you through the definition of an exit, so I'm not going to do that. So Jared, do we have the slides up? Can they see our slides?
Yep.
Oh, and I have the clicker.
Yep.
So some of these things Grant talked about. So where am I seeing that?
Right there. Straight ahead.
Okay.
Johnny,
Advance. So Johnny's going to come in and fix this thing. Show me how to, I can show you how to exit into remarkable things, but I can't figure out how to exit this slide to the next slide.
See this?
All right.
The light? You just click a little sideways thing, it should work.
All right. Well, Johnny's going to figure this out. So Grant talked about the definition of an exit. What I'm going to talk about is some stats, because I think you need numbers to validate your thinking. And so when we get the slides working, but until they work, I'm just going to read this off. So there 80% of small businesses are self-employed individuals. Think about it. There's 31.5 million small to mid-sized businesses in the United States. 31.5 million. 25 million of those have a single person running and working the business, the owner. They can't even figure out how to exit their roles or exit their position. You cannot create massive value as an army of one. It just can't happen. So the first thing you have to do is learn how to get rid of the things that you have to do. And we're going to teach you in this program how to exit your roles, exit your responsibilities, so you can exit to the next level of success, making more money. And it really doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. These principles will carry you into the next round of growth for you, because you're going to exit all the things you're getting bogged down with. So thank you guys, appreciate it. So 8 out of 10 businesses won't sell. 8 out of 10 businesses will never sell, and up to 80% of small businesses net worth owners, the net worth of business owners, up to 80% of their net worth is in their business. They're trapped. So think about it. If you could put a plan in place right now that could elevate you to the next level of success, can help you move into whatever kind of ideal scene, ideal life that Grant talks about. First, you got to identify what that looks like and then reverse engineer it. Once you have a clear picture of where you want to move to, now you have to put a plan to exit where you're at in order to enter where you want to be. Now I'm going to throw around some things. Grant wrote down EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. I just want to make sure that you all understand, because I'm going to simplify this conversation. When we talk about what you pay yourself as a business owner, I call that ODE, owner's discretionary earnings. It doesn't matter how you calculate it, it's what you ultimately pay yourself. If you're running your airplane or you're running your dinners through your business, it's owner's discretionary earnings, because you have the choice of not doing that. We're going to talk a little bit about gross profit, like how do you know if you're going to make money or not? Because profit centers are very important. We're going to talk about net profit. We're going to talk about the need for a P&L, a profit and loss statement. Even if your P&L is just revenue, cost of goods, profit.
Hold on 1 second, yeah, just 1 second.
Yeah,
just the PowerPoint. You can keep going.
All right, good. So, and then we're going to talk about valuation. How do you determine how to understand how things are valued? See, if you spend a lot of time putting your energy and effort into something, you should have a return on that investment. So to be able to understand what's the value. Now in Grant's case, when he talked about running all over the country, he had a $3 million business. He was paying himself $3 million. In my case, I built a $30 million business to pay myself $3 million. There are different ways to skin the cat. There are different ways to get to the end result. Learning what those ways are and understanding is the first part of the process of getting there. If you don't understand it, if you don't have an ideal scene, if you don't know where you want to go, and you're not becoming aware of how to get there, you get lost along the way. So we're going to help you out with that.
Right? Is it EBITDA or EBITDA? Why is
Some
it
people call it EBITDA, some people call it EBITDA. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and understanding. Some people call it process, and some people call it process. Some people call it important, and some people call it important. Just depends on who you're talking to.
Definition's the same.
Definition is the same. So look, I think it's important to understand about the life cycle of exiting. First, you got to start something. Then you got to build it. Then you got to create value inside of it. You have to understand how to optimize it. Then you got to expand it and grow it. And when it expands and grows, it transforms. This is what Grant was talking about. When Grant was doing the work himself, he was building something. But as long as he was doing it by himself, he was not optimizing it. Because at some point you wear yourself out, you get diminishing returns. To optimize means you need to bring more people into doing it with you. Once he figured that out and gained momentum, a lot of people will say, like, how do I get it started? Well, a lot of you have already started stuff. You just haven't optimized it by bringing others in to help you. And learning how to do that is a skill in itself. And it's something we're going to be teaching in this exit program. Now, scale is maximizing what you have. Scaling is the rapid expansion of what you know works. So once you optimize by bringing others in to help you, now you go through expansion. You get more people doing more things, creating a bigger impact. Once you get a lot of people doing that and it's all working together, which is an art in itself, we're going to teach this in this program, it transforms to something bigger than you, which is what Grant talked about. He's got multiple businesses, multiple partners. He's got real estate. He's got all this activity, which is transforming his net worth, transforming his life, so he can spend time. And here's the secret. Write this down. For people like Grant and I, we would never start anything if we didn't already know what our exit was. Think about what that looks like for most of you who are in the throes of doing things, but you don't know what your exit is. See, for Grant, when he was small and he started bringing a team on, Jared joined him, Sherry joined him, and they became Grant's exit to doing something bigger. And then as he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, he starts bringing partners in. That starts transforming. Now he's got Jared and Sherry running business. He's got me running a business. He's got another partner running another business. We're entering new partnerships with other people that we're helping grow and scale their business who are technically good at stuff. He's got Ryan Sickle doing the real estate for him. Now what he's doing is he's expanding and transforming his economic, professional, and personal disposition. Now, did it happen overnight? No, but if we reverse engineer what allowed him, myself, and other successful people that we have met, known, and worked with, if we reverse engineer that, what we did which was the thought of this webinar. If we reverse engineer it and then taught it to you. So I brought some of my friends in that are going to help do some explaining when we get to the one-day program. Sharon Lecter, Cash Flow Quadrant, 3 Feet from Gold, Outwitting the Devil, all the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. Someone who taught me back in 2000 how to realize to build an asset at the same time I'm building an active income. So we've got a group of experts between myself, Grant, Natalie, talking about how to find, attract, develop teams so that you can expand and exit your daily responsibilities. These are all things we're going to be teaching you. And in the 30-part video series over 4 weeks, I'm going to be breaking it down so that you can either sell or exit and take passive income from what is now active income, which is a form of exiting, and be able to create a huge network doing the things you want to do. So this is the thing that changed my life back in 2001. And I learned this. Sharon and Robert Kiyosaki wrote this. And here's the thing. Understanding what an employee looks like, understanding what self-employed, what a business owner. You know, an exit is being a business owner who is an investor. So understanding this, I made the decision that when I start businesses, I'm going to view the start of the business with the exit in mind, the investor side of me. So my expertise, when I said, okay, I'm going to build my next company, I started it with little to no money, no outside capital, no debt, built it to a $30 million business that generated $50 million in profit over 12 years, sold it for $151 million, 77 times EBITDA. When I approached Grant saying I built all these methodologies, all these systems, all these processes, all this technology to teach business owners how to do this. And I said, I want to launch a business with you. He said, let's do it. I've always wanted to do this. He said, how much money do I need to invest in? I said, zero. Using the same principles I teach every day, which we have a whole group of business owners here learning them today. Using those same principles, we started Cardone Ventures 24 months ago was our first revenue. And in 24 months, we've generated over $34 million in revenue. This year, we'll do between $35 and $40 million in our second year in business. Using the exact same principles we teach. But if you know that when you start something, you already have an expected exit, exiting what you have to do after you started it, exiting your roles and responsibilities, exiting so that you can create that business into passive income, that's a BI. That's a business owner who's an investor. And what I want to impress upon you is all you need to learn how to move to that level of success. Or if you're happy being self-employed, that's perfectly fine too. But then learn where to put your money while you're working. So that when you get done doing what you love doing, because you should love it, you can hate it, that's okay, but mostly people learn to hate what they're doing because they're not going through expansion, they're not getting big enough, and they get bored with it, okay? So we're going to teach you these principles in this program. So what's important to know is the life cycle, the break points, because this tells you return on investment. So many business owners statistically get trapped in break point 1, which is the startup phase between 100,000 and 3 million. This series is going to teach you how to blow through those break points. There are 8 principles that can teach you how to build a $25 million business. Now, if you're not someone that wants to build a business yourself, understanding these 8 principles and doing what I did in my first business. See, my first business, I went and met a whole bunch of older business owners and I asked them a question. I said, how many years do you expect to work before you either retire or sell your business? And if someone said between 1 and 3 years, I said, what can I do to come partner with you? I'll buy half your business, although I don't have any cash, and I'll bust my ass for you, and when you want to sell, I'll split the upside with you, 50-50. I was told no so many times, but one day somebody said yes, and they had a $3 million business. I parlayed that $3 million business into a $65 million public company trading on the American Stock Exchange at 29 years old. Like, if you know what I gave that person an exit by entering into their life, knowing that the exit was to build so many of these businesses from people that wanted to sell, that I could sell them all and take half of the upside. So having a strategy and knowing when you go into it what you want that exit to look like is going to allow you to transcend that much faster. But understanding the technical aspects of how to build, scale, and grow a business is what you need. And you need to know what resources you need to exit your roles and responsibilities. You need to know how to put that process in place. This is what we're going to talk about in this exit program, the one-day program. Now, we only have room for 100 people here at headquarters, right?
Yeah.
And so the first 100 are going to get a hands-on walkthrough. I may even have Sharon fly out here and spend some time with you as well, with myself, Grant, Natalie, and Sharon, showing you how to build a business that creates maximum value. Now, the reason I show you this valuation curve,
Can I do one thing really quick?
Absolutely.
I just want to shout out a few people.
Do it.
Congratulate them for jumping.
Nope. Jared's going to turn his microphone
There
on.
we go.
Gotta get the mic going. I just wanted to shout some people out who took advantage of this already. So Near, Leaf, Carlos, Mike, David, Megan, Joseph, Frank, Jamie, Evelyn, Brittany, Francisco, Nasir, William, Chris, and on and on and on. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations on taking advantage. Look forward to seeing you here at headquarters in Miami.
Yeah.
Hey, this is all about impacting lives. I mean, Jared, you provided Grant's exit because you took over roles and responsibilities he used to have to do.
Yep.
And because you've been with him long enough, you started handing those roles and responsibilities off to other people. Now, you built a team that Grant used to do it by himself, then he got you to do it, and now you have 20, 30, 50, 70 people doing what you used to do.
Well, I think that's the idea, is that this exit keeps passing down. So even if you're an employee and you're working for somebody else, your goal should be to exit that role and go into the next thing within that company. And so, like, for a business owner on the training right now, like, you have to be thinking about what are you doing to create that opportunity for other people in the organization. And that's why it's been so easy for me to stay with Grant for the time that I have, is because he keeps creating more opportunities, and as long as he keeps doing that and I keep having the opportunity to exit the role and responsibility that I have, pass that off to somebody else, and then they have the opportunity to do that, that's what ultimately is going to grow.
And you make more money, Grant makes more money, and you de-risk your business because you have more people in there making things happen.
Yep.
And then eventually you start to say, hey, this works really well. Well, let's start collaborating with other people. Let's start doing things with partners. Let's start looking at where we can create value outside of our existing system. The reason I show you this valuation curve is my dear, dear, dear friend and mentor of 20 years, Sharon Lecter, just put a book out called Exit Rich. And what her book does is it describes how to position your business for the ultimate exit, which is a liquidity event. See, that's a different kind of exit. Understanding the principles of creating value, understanding who your buyers are, understanding why they pay the multiples or the ranges they pay. It's really super important for business owners because the more awareness you have, the more knowledge you have, the more structural aspect of how to get there you have, the bigger you can build your business. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm not interested in selling. You don't have to be interested in selling, but I would tell you, you need to build your business every day to drive maximum valuation. So my exit when I start something is maximum valuation. Let me tell you why I draw that immediate parallel. If I'm creating high value, I can exit doing that because I've put a team in place. Even if I don't intend on selling it. Because as Sharon talked about in Cash Flow Quadrant, if you are self-employed and you have high performance, high predictability, and high potential, and you're generating lots of cash, you can passively invest it in assets like Grant Cardone's Cardone Capital. I think I'm the second largest outside of Grant investor in Cardone Capital. Why? Because I don't want to go shop buildings. I don't want to go look at multifamily. I don't like negotiating. I like working with human being business owners and high performance people. That's what I enjoy. That's what my passion is. But I need to have the passive income. So I need to trust somebody who knows how to maximize value because they've got the consistent ability to drive performance, predictability, and potential. And that drives high value. And that's what I look for, and that's why I partnered with Grant. Not only do I have a place to put my money to get it to work for me, but I can actually do the things I love doing and create value back to my partner. He takes care of me, I take care of him, we all take care of all of you. So this is what giving a hand before you ask for one, this is what it does. And if you understand these principles, you can crush it working for somebody else. Look, there are so many business owners, if you look at the stats. 31.5 million small to mid-sized businesses out there. 31.5 million. 31.5 million. 25 million of those business owners have a sole person working for themselves. 5.5 million have between 2 and 15 employees and they get stuck and trapped. 600,000 have over 15 employees. All you need to do is learn how to drive performance, predictability, potential, and your personal stock, just like Jared's with grants, or Sherry's with grants, or Ryan Secco's with grants, or mine with grant. You increase your value based on the contribution you bring. And once you learn that that's how the mechanics work, you can make so much money, it's ridiculous. You just got to learn the process of doing it, and then the thing you do to create that, it'll present itself to you. So let's talk about the different kinds of exits when you monetize. You can do a horizontal exit. I call those tuck-ins, where you go to a strategic, or you go to someone you're working with and they want to add you to their business. You can do a vertical. You could sell your business within the same industry and roll up the industry. You can do a conglomerate.
So can you explain some of that? So like you just said, like a tuck-in, a bolt-on, a roll-up. Like if I own a business and I've got no idea what those things are,
Yep.
Can you explain that? Because the first time I heard it, you said a bunch of things that I didn't understand, and then you said, and if you don't know which one you are, then you will be taken advantage of.
This is why one of the biggest things I've taken from partnering with Grant Cardone is every time I use a word, he says, let's look that up. And I realize how much words actually matter. Because where there's a lack of awareness, a lack of understanding, a lack of context, you will be taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. And you can't be a victim of that. This is what happened with me and my first company. I did not understand all this, and I was taken advantage of. Shame on me for not educating myself. Part of this whole purpose of this program is to take what I've learned from 25 years of experience, what Grant's learned, what my mentor, Sharon Lecter, and John Maxwell with leadership, and Jim Collins with business, taken all the stuff we've learned, that we've gone out and been able to break through and conquer, so that we had awareness, we had context. We could make decisions with expectations, like moving through this to get to there and have an expected result. So when I start talking about the acquisition types, if you own a business, you got to know where the highest values are in your industry, so you can move your business. If you're thinking of those exits, you can move your business to that highest value. So horizontal would be like so if you go horizontals, when a business in your business buys you. And so understanding, like, are those where the highest valuations are paid for your business?
So like if you owned a roofing company, you own like David Baines is on here. I saw David Baines. So he owns a roofing company. So horizontal acquisition would be when another roofing company comes in and says, hey, you have a decent sized business, we want to grow, we're going to buy you.
That's right.
So that would be a horizontal.
And a vertical would be, say, your roofing supplier. The person, the buying group you buy your supplies from. You buy them or they buy you. Mm-hmm. So you're basically, your supply line,
your supply chain,
starts to buy each other. Mm-hmm. And then conglomerates, where you, like, I would say Grant is moving very quickly to a conglomerate, because he's going to have a tech startup. We're going to have a private equity group. We're going to have a training business. We're going to have a tech company. We're going to have a business operations and scaling company. We're going to have a bunch of things that we can't even talk about right now, a media company. Mm-hmm. So what's happening is Grant has gone from a siloed business in a vertical or in a horizontal space, right? And all of a sudden, he's now turning into a conglomerate. Mm-hmm. And generic is where you put different businesses together that can complement each other. So if you look at what my expertise, I'm a growth and scaling, right? So Grant is an expert in marketing, he's an expert in sales and in real estate. So if you put that on a spectrum, my expertise is in finding, attracting, and aligning people.